Welcome to the Ubuntu podcast, bringing generations together.
Hi, everyone. I'm Monique, and I'm the youth that's interviewing
Loris Thomas.
today for the Ubuntu Bridging the Gap podcast. So I'm so excited to be talking with you all about our topic for today's episode, which is love, respect, and boundaries. So I first wanted to ask you, Loris, how would you define love, respect, and boundaries?
Oh,
I know it's a hard one.
it's a hard one, but they work together.
Yes.
To love someone is to respect someone, and to respect someone is really to respect them by setting some boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about a girlfriend that I've been friends with for over 50 years, and I sort of wrote a little script on her, and I talked about we have maintained this relationship over these years through a lot of love and the setting of boundaries and respect. Interesting, that just came back to me. I remember saying that in
Yeah.
in the copy that I wrote about her. Yeah,
No, I totally agree with that.
yeah,
I feel like the way we love our friends
yeah,
and we respect them and treat boundaries can be different with our family, right?
definitely.
And even our partners and things like that, it can be much different. So, how would you say your boundaries kind of change when it comes to the ones you set with your friends, the ones you set with strangers, and even the
Right.
ones that you set with your close family?
Yeah, with my friends, those boundaries um are a little easier to set. Because again, they're, as I say, I'm not living with them, so it does
Yeah.
definitely make it. So they're a little bit easier to set. We, respect time. We respect the friendship that we have. We respect the conversations, and we respect each other to set times when we need to get together.
Mm-hmm.
With families, it's a little bit different. With close family, families that you're living with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where again you have to practice the respect. How do you work within that? Having two sons, I have actually been able to maintain that over the years. And definitely respect is a big part of that. Respect them as children as they were growing up, respecting them as young adults, giving them their space. I reference, if they're up before me and I come down the stairs,
Mm-hmm.
I say good morning. I don't wait for them to say good morning.
Yeah.
We in the kitchen for breakfast, again, we set boundaries and respect each other. Boundary in the sense of making breakfast. We will
Mm-hmm.
say, I'll say, who has had breakfast? Do you want breakfast? If something is happening, then we work that through. I have one son who he'll walk into the kitchen and you can tell where he's gone to in every place if he opens a cupboard.
Yeah, cleaning up after yourself and things like that.
Exactly. But you got to love him through that.
Yeah.
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 He'll open, you'll know he's gone for a cup, he's gone for the cereal, because no doors are closed
Mhm.
behind him. So, yeah.
But, it's important to make sure that the respect that you want shown to you, you're also reciprocating that to someone else,
Exactly.
right? The
Exactly.
respect that you give to your children is reciprocated to you through
Yeah.
actions
Yeah.
on their part,
Yeah.
right? My mom would probably agree with you too. She's like, I can always tell where you've been,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I totally hear you on that front. And then, at least for me, when it comes to boundaries, I think the biggest thing is it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
It's very much easier said than done,
Yeah.
right? You can have all the intention to set a certain boundary with someone, but at the end of the day, you can't control how they respond to it. You
Exactly.
just got to put the intention out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
right?
How do you have the conversations?
Exactly. How would you have the conversation?
Timing is everything. You also have to select the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where respecting the individual comes in. Be sensitive to, is this the right time to have the conversation?
Yeah.
And how deep do you want to go into the conversation? Like don't start a conversation that will take time, but you don't have the time for it.
That's a great point.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, I say mirror the behavior that you want from someone. If you're having a challenge navigating,
Mm-hmm.
the relationship, well, what do I want from that person? How do I want to be treated by that individual?
Mm-hmm.
So you set those boundaries and you mirror that respect. If we want our children to respect us, we're going to have to give it back.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
What would you say is the best way to determine when is the right time to have hard conversations?
Um,
You can take a moment to
I,
think
I
about
know,
it
I
if
know.
you need.
So
Yeah.
you have to kind of be mindful of what is going on with the individual in as much as possible. But sometimes come right out and ask, say, or set a schedule. Say, guys, we really need to talk about this. What does your time look like later on? Let's do that. And conversely, if they come to you, I remember having one of my sons come in. He wanted to talk, and I remember saying, "Oh dear God, I can't have this conversation right now."
Yeah.
And then at the next step, I flipped it and I said, "No, you're going to have this conversation." So I actually made time because he wanted to have that conversation. Then could I make the time? I did, and not being difficult. I said, "Okay, make the time for that." So it's being sensitive. This is where the love piece comes in. Being sensitive to
What they're going
what they're
through.
going
Yeah.
through. Yeah, this is where the love comes in.
No, I hear that. I think a big thing is, especially as a child who has a parent that is very loving too, but also has their own life, right? I know if there are certain things I might want to talk about, I need to consider what it is that she's doing, her time, right? And even what subjects you're comfortable talking about.
Exactly.
Sometimes at certain ages, it's like, I don't know if I really want to talk to you about this right now, right? But then on both of our parts, understanding, okay, why is it so important to this person that I have this conversation, number one?
Exactly.
And then also, as a person that wants to have the conversation, how can I try and accommodate who I want to talk to so that it's easy for them to converse with me, right? So that's definitely something on my mind too. And then prioritizing.
Yes.
Right? A lot of people are like, I don't have any time. But you just said something. You need to make the time.
You need to make the time. You need to make the time. In family, and I've learned this over the years too. In friendships, also, you need to make the time. Sometimes your friend will and you realize, okay, she really wanted to talk to me, and it was such a missed opportunity. So I've learned over the years that make the time. If someone goes, reach out to you, don't slough it off. Make the time. Stop and be sensitive to that. Yeah.
I've heard people say that a 12-minute conversation can change someone's life. So would you agree that even if you don't have all the time, 12 minutes would be enough?
Definitely. Or again, you could make them feel you've heard them. I'm hearing you, but can we talk about it some other time? If that is not, okay, I'll make the time. I'll stop right now and I'll make the time. Yeah. It does make a difference.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad that you confirmed that for us.
And love. This is where again, love, just being mindful of how we love each other. Yeah. It goes with love also. Do I love you enough to make time for you? Do I love you enough to be responsive or to hear that you need me now? Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that we've talked about boundaries and we're kind of going into love, I want to focus on that a bit more.
Okay.
So, how would you say is a healthy way to love your friends, family, and whatnot? And what looks like healthy love and what looks like unhealthy, if you could? Because there's a lot of people, it's like, I might have a relationship with a person, right? Familial, etc. But the way that they show love to me doesn't really feel healthy. Right?
Yeah. So it should leave you feeling good. It should leave you in a positive state of mind. For example, if you have girlfriends and you spend a lot of time together and you come back from your gathering emotionally drained.
Yeah.
And questioning yourself and just not feeling good. That's not healthy. That's not healthy love. Yeah. So the love should leave you feeling good.
Okay. Yeah. And if you recognize within yourself after a few gatherings that you're just loved, feeling depleted, right? What do you think would be the best course of action?
And this is sometimes we don't have the conversation, but be respectfully bold and have the conversation with the person. So, sort of try to identify what is leaving you feeling in that way and talk to the individual about it. Because she's supposed to be a friend or he's supposed to be say, hey, what you don't want to do is the next time she calls, you make excuses.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm not feeling quite well.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
every single time you're going
yeah,
out,
yeah.
it's, something
Because
else.
it helps you grow. It helps you manage that relationship, and it's going to
Yeah.
help you manage future relationships
Yeah.
when you address, what it is that's causing you to feel depleted. Yeah.
Yeah.
In your family, similarly, I guess, it's a little bit easier in the family. You
Depends.
can ignore it for a while, but
Mhm.
I also talk about never get into the silent treatment in your house.
And why do you feel that the silent treatment is not an effective
It's
way?
not mentally healthy. That's not healthy.
And why is that? Because there's a lot of people that do it, right? Or that's their immediate
I
action, right?
know,
That's how they
I know,
do it.
and they think that's where they need to go, but you're also not dealing with whatever it is that's causing you to get to that spot. And how often are you getting to that spot? Like, is
Mhm.
this your go-to a method of dealing with something that is
Mhm.
not making you feel good?
Mhm.
Is to say, okay, I'm just not going to speak about it.
Yeah.
Eventually, you should speak about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So yeah, healthy love is conversing. It's
mhm.
feeling good around each other. It's wanting to be in the space with that individual.
Mhm.
It's wanting to spend time with that person.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do any of that, and you're coming away from every interaction feeling drained, stressed, irritated, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is, then try and address it. Yeah.
That's true. There's a couple things I wanted to say. One, I definitely think it takes a level of bravery
Yeah.
to have
Yeah.
certain conversations,
Yeah. It
right?
absolutely does.
It does. And then also, it's a lot easier to create a certain level of distance between, for example, friends,
Mhm.
right? When there are issues, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're noticing this person's just not working for me,
Yeah.
I can no longer call them my friend. But then when it's your family, it's a
Yeah.
lot harder.
Yeah.
And even with what you said, right, in regards to having those conversations, approaching it with a certain level of love and understanding, and even with what I'm saying, have some bravery
Yeah.
to try and put yourself out there,
Yeah.
right? It's still very hard because you could try and try and try, but you're still being met with a lot
Yeah.
of
So you
friction.
yeah.
So how would you go about that with your family if you're
Uh,
seeing that?
in your with your friends, you do try, but at a point you're going to say, I've tried enough, and then I'm going to have to leave it. I'm going to have to. I've put it out there. I've said this. We've had this conversation. It's just not happening.
Exactly that.
In your family, you do continue trying, and this is where you're going to find those moments. When are the good moments to have these conversations
Mm-hmm.
and try and approach it from a couple of different ways. Yeah. Before you give up, especially if it's someone that's in your household, you're going to see every day. If it's someone that, well,
You're
you only get
twice removed
exactly,
on
yeah,
from,
or you only get together for Christmas or something like that.
kind of power through it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's definitely
But it
harder,
is something, and you're right. I've seen, people who, right in their household, they decide the silent treatment is what I'm going to do, and they do it indefinitely, and it only makes the situation worse.
yeah.
So it's good. And again, I talk about whatever we do come from a place of love. If you come from a place of love, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just know either from my own personal experiences or others that I've spoken
Yeah.
to, it can be frustrating,
Yeah.
right? At the same time, though, you will always love your family. And it's hard because the same way we were talking about love and
Yeah.
what's healthy and what
Yeah.
feels healthy
Yeah.
but isn't healthy, or,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah.
You kind of have to figure out how to navigate those things while maybe their actions are not matching
Exactly.
what they're saying to you,
And when I
etc.
say come from a place of love, what does love look like?
Yeah, is it tough love? Is
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
because that's another thing
Yeah.
too that just came up in my mind.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll have conversations with my parents and they're tough,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, maybe you should be doing this,
Mhm.
or you shouldn't consider this, but it feels like I'm being pressured
Yeah.
into doing it. And I'm sure a lot of youth can relate to that, right? Especially with big decisions that they're going to
Exactly.
make in their life.
Yeah.
And their parents just want to advise them.
Yeah.
They've lived through it,
Yeah.
right? At the same time, as a parent, I'm sure you've had situations where you've had to be a bit tough.
Oh, yes.
So how is the best way, you would say, to navigate showing tough love to youth and or your own kids while still making sure you're approaching it in a positive way?
Definitely, and so you do look at again what love looks like. And I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
So my younger son, he's into sports, and there are rules around the house at the time. He may have been 15, he was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and he loves to do BMX. So I come on one day from work, and his face was ripped off, like
Gosh.
well, really,
Yeah.
and he met me at the door, and he's upset, and because he knew he had done something he wasn't supposed to. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't wearing his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So we dealt with it. I was a bit upset. And he speaks about it to this day. So next morning, knock on his door, okay, get ready for school. He
Mm-hmm.
thought he was not going to go to school.
Yeah, it's like, take it easy on me, Mom.
I know,
I
know.
just went through that
Exactly.
experience.
But it was tough love. I said, no.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
speaks about it. He said, I could have had a concussion. I could have had to send me to school.
Yeah.
But it got up and stuff. So you have to navigate through the tough love.
Mm-hmm.
And again, with respect, respecting him. And in the end, he actually respected me for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Because you get knocked down, but you still have responsibilities, is what you
Exactly.
taught
I
him,
wanted to
right?
teach him that they're still responsible. He's accountable. And this was it. He could walk. His eyes were,
Yeah.
and I wanted to show him that where you would think twice next time. I wasn't being mean. I was just showing, that through this, I'm loving you, but you just got to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a tough love. There's, this easy love, there's all that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think a recent experience I can actually comment on right now. I am learning how to drive, right? And I wouldn't say I'm an anxious driver. I just take it very serious.
Yes.
Take it very seriously, right?
Yeah.
So there was a situation, nothing scary, but I was just nervous, right? And I got honked. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I
Yeah.
feel so bad. The person was just impatient, I realized after, but I was very nervous and I just wanted to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't want to be in a vehicle
Yeah.
anymore, right? And my mom was saying to me, she was like, okay, listen, I understand that you're feeling scared right now. And it's fine to feel that way. And we're going to understand how we can get you out of this.
Mhm.
But I don't want you to stop learning
Exactly.
just because you're
Yeah.
scared, right? It almost creates like a mental block.
Yeah.
So the way that she approached me, where it was like, not just go,
No.
right?
No.
Or, we're going to go home. You're never going to do this again. It was, let's take a pause.
Yeah.
Let's breathe. Let's make sure that you're calm on the
Yeah.
road, right? Because emotions influence you
Yeah.
heavily, right? Let's center you and make sure you can complete this and
Absolutely.
have a happy memory,
Yeah.
right? So that's something that I do think about in
And
terms of
yeah.
how to approach tough love, where she wants to teach me something.
Yes. Yes.
And it's not something that I necessarily want to do in that moment,
Yeah.
but it's
you
still
have to.
kind.
Yeah.
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 And you receive that. I mean, I can share a similar situation
Mhm.
with my son. He was driving to the orthodontist,
Mhm.
and he just got his license, probably 6 months, and he scratched off every side of the car going around. And he said, Mom, by the time I realized I was on the wall, I couldn't get off. So even if he reversed, it was all scratched off.
Mhm.
And I didn't get upset. He was learning. So again, love expressed in a different way. I said, it's all right. It's a vehicle. You're not hurt,
Mhm.
and we take it to the body shop and we get it all ironed out. I don't want him to, you don't want him to get into a stage where he's afraid to take the car again.
Yeah.
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 Like prioritizing
Exactly.
your
Well,
life over
yeah.
the inanimate object,
Yeah.
which I know is hard to say with a car
Yeah.
because a car is expensive,
Yeah. But
right?
still, but it's all part and parcel of how we love our children, how we love the people in our life,
Mhm.
how we love and groom and coach, mentor
Yeah.
as you grow up. If
Mhm.
we as a parents can't give that to you, tough love and good love and easy love and all these stages of love, then
Yeah.
Where are you going to get it from? We've got to start showing you that first. Yeah.
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 Because
And again,
definitely.
mirroring the behavior that you
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
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 Because no, parents, family, even friends, they're all your first look at how society will
Yeah.
treat you,
Yeah.
right? Your first experience on how you'll be treated by other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it be in the job, whether it be you're going to a function,
Yeah.
right? That is your first
Yeah.
experience. So having good memories to reference when you're
Exactly.
having a difficult situation is important.
Yeah.
Because it helps you to get through it and it gives you good skills.
Exactly. And you know what it looks like. So you also know when you're not being treated properly.
That's
So
true.
you know when you're not getting the behavior or that that you would like to have, and then you're going to be able to say, okay, no, I don't need to be here.
Yeah. So you would definitely say it's important that not only parents and family, but your friends make sure that they create experiences with you
Yeah.
that you can reference
Yeah.
to help you when you're in other experiences, and you kind of have to realize, is this healthy? Is this not healthy?
Exactly.
Right?
I once said I have someone described me as being very formal, but it's not been formal. It's just, again, how you set the boundaries, how you behave with your friends, how you want your friends to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
And over time they realize, okay, this is your expectation. This is what you want from this relationship. What do you want from this relationship?
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of show them what you want, and eventually that comes back right at you. If you want this level of treatment, then this is what I'm going to show you. And
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even, are certain things conditional or are they unconditional?
Yes. So that's a big one.
I think that a lot of the time you'll hear, oh yeah, parents have unconditional love. And I'd like to say that's true for me.
Yeah.
I would not go ahead and say that's true for everyone.
And I'll sort of expand on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I had one of my boys said that. He said, "But your love is unconditional, mom."
It depends on the
I know,
situation, right? It's
exactly.
too big of an umbrella.
I know. I
Because,
said it depends, but it's unconditional because he knows me. I said, you know me as your mom, and you know what my expectations are. So you're not going to be going outside of that. So then my love will be unconditional. So that's interesting. That was an interesting position. It is unconditional. But he knows me and he knows my expectation. He knows the level of behavior that I will tolerate.
Exactly.
He knows what the boundaries are in the house. So to go outside of that and to say my love is unconditional, it may not be.
Yeah. Right? Not
Yeah.
be fully true,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I definitely believe there's caveats to everything,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
black and white.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's many shades of
Yeah.
gray,
Yeah.
right? Because situations differ.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with
Yeah.
you. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you there.
But if you say to your child, I mean, these are the expectations,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows that, and then you come home and something totally different is going on, then it doesn't mean that your love is as has condition. It just means that you have broken the trust. You've just respected the rules of the house.
Right.
So you're going to be held accountable. It doesn't mean that I love you any less.
Yeah. It's just I like you less right now.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like the behavior. Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to have to be dealt with. Yeah. So that's a big one. Is your love unconditional or not? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think from this conversation, I can say that love can definitely appear as unconditional,
Yes.
but we just subconsciously will work not to, go out of someone's
Outside. Yes,
boundaries,
of
right?
course. Of
Or
course.
break their trust,
Yeah.
right? Because going back to boundaries too, if you have certain expectations, which can kind of be a synonym in some way for boundaries,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
If someone else chooses to disregard what you have said, right? Certain things that you put in place, then you've broken that trust, and then,
Yeah.
as you said, that love becomes a bit
It
conditional,
becomes
right?
yeah,
Right?
you're challenging that love.
Trust is a big thing. I know we're talking about boundaries, love, and respect,
Yeah.
but
Trust is a part of it too.
trust is a big thing.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into any other topics, let's just take a quick break and we'll see you all very soon.
I'm Tresha Wallace, founder of Ubuntu Legacy Community Care. Bridging the Gap is our podcast connecting youth and seniors for real conversations on culture, health, and life lessons. I'm Tresha Wallace, founder of Ubuntu Legacy Community Care. Bridging the Gap is our podcast connecting youth and seniors for real conversations on culture, health, and life lessons.
Great, so we're back. Thanks for waiting for us. If you enjoyed the ads and you'd like to support Ubuntu, please contact us. Either leave a comment or email us, phone call, anything's great. Or if you'd like to be a guest like Loris, let us know. All right. So where were we? We were talking about trust.
Yes.
Right? I think the biggest thing with trust is who you choose to trust and having discernment. How would you say discernment is really important in regards to trust? Right? Picking the right people, having the right relationships and that way.
Definitely. And how do you discern who are the right people?
Exactly. What character traits do you look for that you would say helps?
Yes.
Right.
I guess I have character traits to some extent
Mm-hmm.
that's similar to mine. At the same time, though, I take time to get to know people. And I also say the same thing of people. Take time to get to know me.
Mm-hmm.
While first impressions are sometimes the best or great, but it depends on the situation and what first impression you're going to be getting.
That's true.
Yeah. So I never immediately start forming an opinion about a person on first impression.
That's something a lot of people need to be doing for sure.
I never do.
And why is that?
Because I know for me, it's going to be very hard for you to know who I am on first meeting me. And so I do the same for others. I want to get to know. I want to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like I definitely agree with you there because when you go just based off of first impressions, you kind of simplify who a person is into one experience. And that's not really fair, is it? Right? Same thing again. Topics. What we were talking about with reciprocating, mirroring how you'd want to be treated, which I feel is the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. If you were just simplifying a person's entire identity and who they are and their personality into one experience with usually minimal context.
You do need to keep it in context.
Yeah.
As I just say, the way you see me on vacation,
is not
that's vacation, Loris.
Right. Yeah.
You know, in real life, who is that person? So it does take time to get to know someone before you can actually trust that person. And you should. You absolutely should.
So maybe figuring out who they are most of the time. And then seeing if that is the individual you want to trust.
Exactly.
That's how you should pick.
With your your life, your thoughts, your brain, your time. Yes.
Yeah. It's a lot more complex than just
no. You cannot
sure.
know on the first meeting who that person is. You may hit it off on the first occasion. You know, that will lead you to want to spend more time with that person, or you want to follow up with a phone call. Or or to take it a bit further, but you cannot say, "Oh my gosh, I met this person and I trust her completely," or you can't. So take time to know the individual.
Yeah, I think another thing too is sometimes people want to know others so badly that they'll feel, "Oh, I just want this person to share everything with me." Right? But if they don't feel that way yet to you, it's hard as well, right? So you might be the type of person, kind of like what we're describing. You don't just go based off of characteristics. You want to know that person in a well-rounded way, right? But if they are, I guess, pace-wise a bit slower than you to share, that can, I guess, be
Yeah.
off-putting for some people.
It can be off-putting because yes, when you meet the individual who's sharing, and oversharing right away, I am usually taken aback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At the same time, too, it depends on what they're sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like this weird thing, at least when it comes to boundaries in that way. You almost create a boundary too if you feel either they're oversharing or undersharing. You might be like, okay, I
Yeah.
want to distance myself from this person, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like your own emotional protection
Yes.
because you don't know what someone will do with that information,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Or why they want so much information from you.
If on first meeting, exactly.
Yeah. So that's another thing. How do you try to build trust while sharing things with people and whatnot, but also keep your boundaries intact so that you don't feel like your emotions or your experiences could be weaponized towards you, right?
And so I would probably, I would say, know who you are, develop a comfort level with yourself first. Because the people who get into a situation of oversharing or just, they are not really comfortable. So if you know who you are and develop a comfort level with yourself, and you're placed in a situation like that, you're not gonna do what they're doing because you should not feel that you need to match what they're doing.
Yeah.
To be comfortable in the space or to be comfortable with them.
Even though you're mirroring, you're not.
You're not
in that way. Yeah.
Exactly. You're having you're relating to each other. But again, your comfort level with yourself will prevent you from will help you in not giving information that you're not ready to give on first or second meeting.
That's true.
So again, it's about knowing who you are, but be comfortable and healthy in your mind. That it's unfortunate though. There are people who are not in that space, and they will start to. They may be vulnerable, and so don't go out. Try not to be out when you're vulnerable.
Which is hard to say because sometimes you don't realize
that you are,
right? And that's what I was talking about too, like how to know who's the right person to talk to share with, so that your emotions and experiences are not weaponized.
Exactly. Because you could be in a situation where you're vulnerable, and before you know it, you're telling this person a whole bunch of stuff without intent, but it was not your intent, but because of wherever you are with yourself at that time.
Yeah.
And then you leave the event and you go, oh God, I really told that person way too much.
Two things on that note. One, I definitely understand where you're coming from, where it's like you need to have a certain level of, like a threshold at which you feel comfortable sharing things, right? So it's almost like, what is your emotional comfort zone in terms of sharing? So then whoever it is, if you get there, you're okay.
Exactly.
You're okay. And then another thing is when it comes to respect, we have been talking about how we show respect to others, but you were talking about, sometimes people will be vulnerable. They might not feel a certain way inside themselves, right? In regards to, I want to say, their self-esteem at that moment, right?
Yeah.
So as I was saying, we talk a lot about how respect is shown to others, but how do we show ourselves self-respect, right? How do we respect ourselves and build our self-esteem in that way?
Yeah. And that will help you navigate the respect that,
and even the love. It'll help you navigate all those things when you have a certain level of self-respect. And this is my own opinion.
Yeah.
But if you have a certain level of self-respect, it can help with setting your boundaries. It can help with the way you show love to people, the way you accept people, and how much you're willing to trust and who you trust. So I wanted to get into that. So as it relates to self-respect, do you feel generationally, what do you think the difference is in terms of maybe how much the youth respect themselves based off of things you hear or people you meet versus your own peers?
And that's really a big question, because you do want, for the next generation, you do want them to have that self-respect and feel that they are valued. And that will help them as they meet other people and how they're going to live their future life, so to speak. And I think some of that starts with parenting. Some of that really starts with the message we send as they're growing up. And for me, I mean, in my household, my children are valued and they know it. That's communicated to them, that's told to them. And I'll share another example. I mean, with my son. He was at some friends. He was just started grade 9, and I called, and I wasn't comfortable with, and I said,
That group.
yeah, and I said, you need to come home.
Mm-hmm.
And he did come home, but he comes in and he says, my friends think you're overprotective.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes, I am. I said, yes, I am. This is why you need to be home.
Mm-hmm.
So he got that message clearly, and I said, I watch out for you, and so he understood that he was valued. If I see a situation happening as a parent, I'm going to step in.
Yeah.
And you also need to know what is expected of you and what you should be expecting of yourself. And over time, that was learned.
Yeah. Yeah. Use your parents' expectations as the benchmark for
Yes.
how you create expectations for yourself.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
And definitely understanding and growing up with that. So that value, how do you value yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What and again the same thing, what are your goals? What do you expect from life? Live, is this what you want to do? So set that pattern of what you want to do, how you want to live. But help them. We help each other to do that.
Yeah. I think a term that a lot of people will know is know your worth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Know your worth, know your value.
Yes.
And that's very important.
Yeah.
I did want to mention something too. I know that you have sons,
Yes.
right? How would you say there's a big difference between self-respect within females and girls versus boys, and how to make sure that both genders have self-respect? Because I'm sure you might have nieces,
Yeah.
and it's not to say like boys and girls should be grown up differently. It's just there is a difference when it comes to the self-respect in males and self-respect in women, and how we can make sure they're both feeling good.
Yeah. And so I mean, I grew up in a household where you want to feel good as a girl. Boys were still probably treated a little bit. From my generation, boys were more important than girls. Everyone would have a boy.
Yeah.
But it's so important that they are treated so they feel valued, they feel respected, they know their worth, and how you apportion household chores, how you apportion, how you give gifts, how do you give praises, is very important. Yeah. So you have to give it in equal dose. Yes, I have sons, but for me, I say to people, I am their first cheerleader. They come home and they share something with me. It's a rah-rah. I will do the tough love, but it's more or less, it's always, I'm always, giving good, I'm giving praises, crediting them for what they've done. Yeah, and conversely, expectations are set. And do not necessarily beat up on the person for not meeting the expectation, but we have the conversation. The conversation about it. So how do we teach our younger ones to value themselves is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I got from that was, big thing is dosage.
Yes.
Making sure that's equal, right? Now, the way in which you give praise might be different depending on what it is that person needs to hear the most.
Exactly.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, definitely. And sometimes you're going to hold and be sensitive to what's going on too. Sometimes you're going to hold the judgment or the criticism or for lack of better, you're going to hold the feedback. Depending on what the feedback is, you're going to temper it, because we all need feedback. We all need positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
We absolutely all need it. And the mistake that we make is not recognizing that we all need positive reinforcement. But I think some parents are not doing that.
Yeah. And it's just punishment.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. But we all need, no matter how old we get, we all need positive reinforcement. We all need someone who's going to make us feel a little bit celebrated. Yes. there was a song going on, I celebrate you, I celebrate me. We all need to feel celebrated, no matter how simple it is.
Yeah.
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 I had during COVID where I was a little bit down
Mhm.
and I had a panic day and I called a friend and I just put it out there, that how I was feeling.
Mhm.
And she came over and we went for lunch. We went into the park.
Mhm.
We did silly things like get on a swing. Yeah. So so she heard me.
Yeah.
And so we do this for each other, the same thing, And if we miss that, I remember take up the phone and said, "Was something going on? Did I miss something?" And we'll take it from there. Yeah.
Reading energy too,
Reading energy.
right? I
Reading,
think
yes.
emotional intelligence is the thing that also really connects all of these
Absolutely.
topics, right?
Absolutely.
Because it also comes into knowing when the right time is, right? You're able to read emotions, read energy, pick up signals,
Yes.
and then have that inform you
Yeah.
as to what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it all ties back to love.
Yeah.
It all ties
Exactly.
back to
How
to
would
love
you
each other.
say emotional intelligence improves your life on a daily basis and just in general?
Oh, it's important. It's absolutely important in my life. But that also comes with growth,
Mm-hmm.
some mindfulness. I probably wasn't like this, let's say, in my early years. I think as I evolved and as I got older and become more mindful of what relationship should be and what friendship
Should look like.
should look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you do need, that emotional intelligence to navigate some of that. There are times where I will be with a group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
There might be 10 of us. We have girls trip. Yeah, we're not always going to be in sync all the time, but is it necessary to call it out all the time? No.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of weigh the situation and how seriously the situation might be and go from there. So you absolutely, the emotional intelligence come into play there.
Yeah.
It's not everything it's never always about the one individual, or sometimes what you see may not be exactly what's going on. And also be mindful, something else could be happening under the surface there.
Yeah, that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with you
Exactly.
too, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Kind of thinking beyond just yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of
Yeah.
things happening in people's lives, and for the most part, you only know one version of them,
Exactly.
right? They might
Exactly.
just know Girls
Yeah.
Trip Loris.
Yeah.
I'm sure they know more,
Yeah.
but
they
they
do.
might know Girls Trip Loris, but
Yeah.
Work Loris might be going through
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
things.
And this is exactly where the respect and the love and the boundaries come in. I'll say, someone say to me, "Oh, can you do this with me this weekend?" And I think, I can't. So then I'll wait. I'll stop and say, "Wait a minute." Every time I want her to do something, she's available. Why am I not available?
Mm-hmm.
But I've also explained I have this happening. But next time I'll make time to be with that or to do that, or I'll literally pick the phone up and have a conversation rather than sending a text. This is so important. Rather than always texting. So did you get away? Did you manage that? But don't, just pick the phone up, and it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely agree with you there. No, it's true. You really have to be aware of
Awareness.
what
Yeah.
other people are going through as well as yourself, and knowing your own energy.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want to just go
No,
somewhere
exactly.
when you're not energetically yourself,
Yeah.
right? And however yourself looks like
Yeah.
in that relationship with that person. Like for me, I will definitely have moments, even not last weekend, but the weekend before. My friends wanted to see me,
Mhm.
right? And I haven't seen them for a while, but it was like the one weekend in the past, I want to say 8 weeks, where I really didn't have any pressing responsibilities that I needed to go to, right? And I just said to myself, yeah, I could, not to say it takes a lot of energy for me to hang out with my
Yeah.
friends, but there's a certain threshold I need to be at.
Yeah.
So if anything happens, I can still be my jovial self,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I said, I just need a break,
Yeah.
right? Nothing towards them,
No.
but I just need my me time.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, at least my age, like to use the term like our battery in a way,
Yeah.
right? So my battery wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
My social battery wasn't quite there. And I said to myself, yes, there might be very few individuals that not can tolerate me when my
Yeah.
social battery's low, but still accept me and they're not
Exactly.
making it weird.
Yeah. And that was good.
But
You know yourself, and you're
yeah,
valuing yourself to say, what, you know what? I need me time right now. I
yeah.
won't be good company. You may have forced yourself to have gone,
Mm-hmm.
but you would not have been at your best. And you would come home drained and be irritable.
Mm-hmm.
And then may say, oh, I shouldn't, and then you're sort of passing that on to them, whereas you should have made the mistake and said, no, I'm not going. I've done that. I've said, literally I just needed to lay on the couch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I guess
Yeah.
it's also part of it is being considerate,
Exactly.
right?
And you respond, yeah.
Because even if you don't think your emotions will rub off on people,
Mhm.
the people you're closest
They'll
to,
know.
they'll sense
They'll
it,
sense it.
right? They have almost this heightened emotional intelligence because similar to what you were saying a while ago,
Yeah.
your family can kind of sense how you are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They can sense what expectations you
Yeah.
have. They can sense when they haven't
Yeah.
met them, even if you don't say it,
Yeah.
right? So I'm very aware of how I come across to people
Yeah.
energetically
Yeah, definitely.
and making sure that,
Yeah. And this is where
Yeah.
that piece comes in. So over time, you're learning to value yourself and value how you feel and value the time that you need to make for you. So that's all a part of it. People have forced themselves outside of that and get into all kinds of, situation because you're not recognizing you're like, I can say no, I can that, but you respond to your friends, sorry guys, I'm going to miss this one.
And
Don't
no is a
necessarily have
full
to say
sentence. It's a
exactly,
full
exactly. You
sentence.
don't have to say why.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I'm going to have to miss this one. Yeah.
No, I'm really glad to know that you recognize social battery and that being a real
Oh
thing.
my,
Because there's a lot of people, they're like, what is this youth mumbo jumbo,
no,
right?
it's a real thing. I'm sort of I'm not surprised to know, but I should not be surprised that we all have our social batteries. We all have our energy level.
Yeah, yeah.
I love to see people who just go, go, go. But I also know that outside of that, they have to take time to kind of, for themselves. Yeah.
I think my last question on this topic would be, what's a term that you know that you use or your generation uses that's similar to social battery, just so that
Yeah.
when us youths are
Yeah.
conversating, we can speak your language in a way.
So and this I developed, I've hitched my wall.
Okay, okay.
I've hit my wall. And the other one that I used just recently, I'm experiencing diminishing returns, guys.
That's a good one.
Diminishing
That's a
returns. I
good
mean,
one. Yeah.
you can, it's not
You
gonna,
keep going with it to the plateau.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the one I think I started using this probably in the 90s, early 2000s. I've hit my wall, and that's it. Yeah. But the
Okay.
new one is diminishing returns. And I've just used that the other day, guys. It's not happening. I'm experiencing diminishing returns here. I need to stop.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna use that. All right.
Yeah.
So the final question
Yeah.
of the podcast today that we're planning on asking every guest, starting with you,
Okay.
Horace, is, let me make sure I have it here. Okay. In regards to the topics that we discussed in the podcast today, which were quite a lot, right? But mainly focusing on love, respect, boundaries, and then other ones that kind of trickle in. What would you do differently in how you love, respect, create boundaries with people, trust people when you were 18?
Wow. When I was 18, I was just trying to figure it out. I think I had a lot of boundaries. I had a lot of respect because that's definitely part of upbringing. We were brought up to have manners and respect. I think I said boundaries. I think I did, but probably wasn't even mindful that I was setting boundaries. I guess my demeanor would have just brought in the boundary piece. Exactly. Exactly.
Would there be anything you would have changed or doubled down on?
I probably would have changed. I think I may have been a bit too rigid with myself and my expectations.
For others or for yourself?
For
or
myself.
both?
For myself, actually. For myself, which probably filters down onto others also. Because I recognize that in even in these later years that my rigidity prevents people from approaching me. Yeah.
Oh.
My boundaries to some extent, or my expectation of myself, which filters down to others, creates a barrier. So I probably would have loosened up a little bit. But who knows?
You know, I understand what you're saying. I will say though, and I guess I'm kind of speaking to like younger
Yeah.
viewers here. I have friends who experience the same thing that you're talking
Yeah.
about, where they might come across as unapproachable.
Yeah.
And one of my friends who I've been friends with for, I want to say like close to 15 years now, just like a really long time.
Mhm.
But yeah, like a lot of people will be like, "Oh my gosh, like you just seem so mean," when it's just
Mhm.
her
Just
facial, her
yeah.
facial expression, or not even her energy, but
Yeah.
it's you can't really change how other people
Perceive it.
come to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But it wasn't it was, I think for me, and I had people say that to me. And then I remember this young lady who started working in my team on one of my jobs. And she said, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you were so nice." Now,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
she
yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
that, but something in my demeanor and the way I carried myself prevented kind of create a blockage.
Mhm.
I've had several people say that on occasion. And so if I spent my early years, imagine how many other people I would have embraced, or maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But that actually, there was a barrier set up. So I probably would have been a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more um, open, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm.
But,
Mhm.
but
No, it
I think a
does.
lot of that had to do with upbringing is a big part of that,
Yeah.
and protecting yourself to some extent,
Yeah.
self-preservation. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. No, it does go back to you were saying something before, and now I just lost it. But all right, if I remember it,
Yeah,
you
it'll
you
come
guys
back.
will
Yeah.
hear it. Yeah, but I'm really glad that we had this conversation.
This has been good.
I enjoyed talking to
Yeah.
you. It was very informative for me, and I'm sure everybody
Yeah.
listening. And yeah, we are
It's
done with this
important to
episode.
have the conversation with the younger ones, and
Yeah.
for me, it's great because, I mean, as you say, I don't have daughters, I have sons, so
Mhm.
conversations but they're a riot. We have some amazing conversations.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Well, thank you for your time, Loris, and thank you everyone for
Thank
taking the
you.
time to listen to us today. If you enjoyed podcasts like this and you'd like more episodes, please visit Ubuntu Legacy Care and donate. We're a not-for-profit. We love helping people. So, anywho, we'll
Excellent.
talk to you all later.
Thank you.